Hello and welcome to the new vlog for the 25th of August. We're going to today do a slightly different format, so I'm going to do the puzzle as I would normally do it, but I'll tell you what the definition part of the clue is and how the wordplay works, and then invite you to pause the video before I type in the answer so we can try and sort of work through the puzzle together in order. I'm not going to have time to do the whole puzzle because we want to keep these vlogs to a sensible length, but we'll probably do about a third to a half of it and give you a lot of starting letters, and hopefully that will then allow you to continue to work through it in your own time. I hope this format's interesting. Let us know if you like it. We can do it again, or we can extend it and do the whole puzzle as you like. And just to flag as well that tomorrow I think we're going to do a vlog not on crosswords but on the killer Sudoku, the deadly killer that appears in the Times on Saturday. Some of you may be interested in how to do those quickly, and we can share some of the tips and techniques that we use to bash those puzzles out. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so for a cross, say good woman is going to sort of finish. The definition there is sort of finish, so you should be thinking about the sort of painting finish there. And in terms of wordplay, so say good woman is going. What I'll tell you about that is that say is often, for example, which should make you think of a certain abbreviation, and good is very often abbreviated to G. So if you pause the video, and I'm now going to type the answer. Let's go to the next one. We'll start using the starting letters. That's what I would do if I was solving normally. Okay, so let's look at 6 down now. Definition here is no seats left ? So, and the question mark sort of getting at the description of if there's no seats left, how might one describe a show like that? And then the wordplay there, only question heard. The word heard should be making you think of a homophone. So when you say this answer, it should sound like only question. So if you pause the video, I'm going to type the answer now. So soul doubt, soul as in S-O-L-E, doubt as in D-O-B-T is what that's getting at. Let's go on. Okay, let's look at 7 down. So here the definition is actually horrible, and we've talked before about words like extremely. I think Mark mentioned it yesterday or the day before. So extremely loathsome, you should be thinking about the extreme letters of loathsome. So you're looking for a short word that's the name of a river, a short word that's a type of crustacean, and then L-E at the end. You should pause now. I'm going to type the answer. Okay. Let's move straight on to 8 down. An incredibly, I suppose, simple clue for a Times crossword. This is called a double definition. So there's two quick crossword definitions here: survive and at the end. You're looking for a 4-letter word beginning with L. Pause. And I'm going to type the answer, which is let's look at 11 across. Okay, all I'm going to tell you here is this is a slightly unusual word, but the word play is very helpful. So the definition is deposit, and then the wordplay, nothing, there being not so much around. Well, nothing there is an O, and then we need to put a 4-letter word for being, meaning there being not so much around the edge of the O. And that, if you're not familiar with the word, you should be able to work out how it might fit together. So I'm going to pause, so you should pause now, and I'm going to type the answer, which is that. Okay, now let's have a look at 12 across. We have a odd look. I can only really think of one word that's going to fit there at the end, maybe two. Okay, I failed to solve 12 across first time through, so let's go on to 14 across. So the definition here is cake. So you're looking, and you can see the word end of apple there. That should be immediately screaming the letter E. So you're looking for a 4-letter word that means wrong, then an E to give a 5-letter word which is a type of cake. I'm going to pause it now, and this is the answer I'm typing in. Okay, let's go on to 16. Okay, let's go straight on to 16. The definition here is fixed, and the wordplay is I can be silenced, and it's a bit of a pun, this, in the sense that when you say the answer, you can see how it could mean I can be silenced. The I at the start is hinting a bit that there might be an I at the start of the answer here. I don't think I'm saying too much by saying that. So I'm going to put, you should pause now, I'm going to type the answer. I'm mutable, being the pun, I can be silenced. Let's look at 17. Okay, didn't get 17 down, let's look at 15 down, where we have the starting letter. So story about fine is the wordplay there, and fine, I can tell you, is very often abbreviated to F. Could also be OK, but more often than not it's F. So you're looking for an 8-letter word for a story that you need to put an F in the middle of to give you an economic policy. You should pause now. The answer is okay. So 21 across is an interesting clue. The whole thing is really hinting at the answer. All I can tell you is that you need to think a bit laterally in reading the clue here. Try and think about what it might be referencing. So when it's talking about unhealthy intake, it's talking about breathing. And you should pause now, so I'm going to write in the answer, which I think is this. Let's look at this one, which begins with, okay, so again, this is relatively simple clue. The definition here is weaknesses, and we're looking for a 4-letter word for struggles around the edge of a constant. Now, a constant is very often abbreviated to C in crosswords, but it could also be, I suppose, X, Y, or Z. Although X, Y, and Z would more often be described as unknowns rather than constants. So I think you can be confident there's a C in the middle of the answer here. And I'm going to pause the crop. You should pause now and write the answer in, which is mices. Okay, we can move on with 26 across. Perhaps a little surprisingly, the definition here is end of game, which may allow some of you to immediately get the answer. The wordplay is a 5-letter word for verify, followed by an anagram of the word tame. And you can see that the anagram indicator there is surprisingly. So it's saying treat the letters of tame surprisingly, reorder them, and hopefully I'm going to pause it. You should pause it now. I'm going to type the answer. I'm sure most of you have already got checkmate. Let's try and use the K in 20 down. It's always a good letter to try and key into. Okay, let's look at 23 down. I count as mad. So the definition here is mad. The wordplay is I count, and you can see that the I there is already in the answer, so we need a 4-letter word for count, and the whole thing means mad. So pause, and the answer is irate. Okay, and I'd like to, I think, cover 3 more clues just to give you a real start on the outside answers here, because they give you a lot of checking letters, a lot of starting letters for the rest of the clues that you can then work through. Let's have a look first at 27 across. So the clue here, the definition is African. So you're looking for the name of a type of African, and the wordplay breaks down. We need an insect that flies, and you need to put that around the edge of a word for squares. And when it's talking about squares here, it's not talking about squares in the sense of, you know, piazzas or plazas or yards. It's talking about a square number. Okay, so I'm going to pause, or you should pause now. I'm going to write the answer in. Okay, so it's G there. Okay, let's now go back to 1 across. And this is an example of a double definition. So if we break it after the start, the word start, we can say that we need an expression that's 4-2, which means shall we start? And it also, that same expression means fires, and that's in the sense, not in the sense of, you know, lights up, but in the sense of sacks somebody. So if you pause, and the answer is that. Now let's just deal with 1 down as well, because as I say, I think it's helpful. This is quite a tricky clue. The definition here is marketing materials, and what we need is a 4-letter word that is a temptation around 6 letters, which actually breaks down as a 7-letter word, meaning to repeat, which is shortened by a letter. So to keep repeat short, that's what's being got at there. So you should pause, and the answer is literature. So it's iterate without the E at the end, inside lure, the temptation. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. I hope that's given you enough of a start on the grid. Good luck with finishing the rest of it. There are 1 or 2 tricky points, but yeah, I think certainly the next 5 or 6 answers are very gettable from here. Let us know how you get on, and we'll see you again tomorrow.